Pro-Palestinian demonstrators interrupted a Holy Saturday Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral today. They ran up to the altar yelling "Free Palestine" and holding a banner that read "Silence equals death." Parishioners were left stunned and the group was quickly escorted out. 3 people now face charges of disrupting a religious service.
All right, guys, so I hope that all of you had a great Easter Sunday celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And we got to talk about another story, unfortunately, that is just another sign of how Christianity seems to be the most disrespected religion in the United States of America, okay? I mean, yesterday I just did a story about how the Biden administration thought it was a good idea to declare Easter Sunday the Trans Day of Visibility, okay? I mean, you would think that the Biden administration would have enough awareness to know that, hey, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, this Easter Sunday, we should not acknowledge this other holiday. And the woke revolutionaries should exercise some tolerance towards Christians in our holiest day. But no, that's not what they did. They basically, used today to talk more about trans visibility than what the day is actually really about, which is, again, the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Today, on Trans Day of Visibility, we celebrate the trans individuals in our communities and recognize their struggles for recognition and increasingly survival in the face of unfathomable hate which leads them to often feel unsafe or like they don't belong.
And we also celebrate the many contributions that they've made. We've had trans leaders at the forefront of progress in every field imaginable, from STEM to the arts to human rights advocacy to so much more.
All across the country, we're seeing a rise in legal, political, and physical attacks on those in the trans community.
And it's just appalling and unconscionable, this discrimination, and it's gone on for far too long.
Look, at the end of the day, everyone wants and deserves to be respected, connected, and protected. Our trans community deserves no less. So Jen and I wanted to add our voices and our support to the millions of people celebrating today.
For those of you in the trans community, whether you are out or not, we value you and we appreciate you.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? That is something that a lot of people see as state-sponsored and taxpayer-funded disrespect towards Christianity, right? That is what a lot of people are interpreting that as, and rightfully so. But we got to talk about a more overt kind of act of disrespect here, which I think, again, this is just kind of the worst, which is a protest that happened at an Easter Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City by woke activists, okay? The climate change activists, the pro-Palestine activists actually disrupted an Easter Mass Saturday night because, again, apparently they don't have any respect for Christians worshiping and celebrating our holiest holiday. Take a look. Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Blatant and overt disrespect, okay? This is something that seems to be occurring way too often in this country. And, this is just another sign of how people just believe that Christians are supposed to be tolerant of everybody else, but there is not supposed to be any tolerance towards Christians, okay? It's really sad the state that our country currently is when it comes to the respect for Christians. You notice how Joe Biden went out of his way to try to push for a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza before Ramadan, right? Because he wanted to show some respect towards the Muslim holiday, right? I can't imagine any of, these protesters being okay with Christians protesting at a mosque on Eid, right? Or, interrupting some type of Muslim ceremony or celebration, okay, on one of their holidays, and people think that that's okay. They say that that is Islamophobic. I mean, to me, it seems like this country is suffering from, I'm not sure exactly what you would call this, but maybe Christian phobia, right? Or Christophobia. I'm not sure exactly what you call it, but it seems like we're suffering a whole lot of that, right? There's a whole lot of hate and bigotry towards Christians, or at the very least, that doesn't seem to be any consideration for Christians and our own holy holidays or ceremonies. So let's read here. Nothing sacred to these guys. A trio of attention-seeking protesters, one of whom previously glued his feet to the stands at the U.S. Open as a part of a climate change stunt, were cuffed and hauled out of St. Patrick's Cathedral after disrupting Easter Mass with shouts of Free Palestine on Saturday night, cops say. See, here's the problem, right? That's the problem. One of these guys already got in trouble for gluing his feet to the stands at the U.S. Open. The fact that his feet is still not glued there is the problem, right? I mean, that's the issue. If his feet were still glued there, this would not have happened. This problem would have been solved. But, again, that's the issue. These people, they do this type of stuff. They get away with it. And that's the problem. Again, if this guy was still glued there, if people just refuse to unglue these people when they do crazy stuff like block traffic by gluing their hands on cement, you would see a lot less of this, right? They would not do it, okay? Police were called to the iconic Midtown Cathedral for complaints about a disorderly group just before 9 p.m. The protesters were quickly taken out of the service. Matthew Menzies, 31, John Rosendahl, 63, and Gregory Shiwidak, 35, were taken into custody and charged with disruption of religious service, police told the Post. Well, I mean, listen, here's the thing. I don't think that's enough. I actually think that they should be charged with a hate crime, right? Because, I mean, nowadays, everybody wants to make everything a hate crime. How about when you disrupt a religious service on a sacred holiday? How about that, right? That to me sounds like an act of hate and bigotry, okay? So, I mean, I'm just saying, maybe they should consider it, to be a hate crime. Just saying, okay? I'm just saying, I mean, if it was done to a mosque or a synagogue or something like that, we all know these people would be, hey, that would be something that's unacceptable, right? People would say, hey, we can't tolerate this type of hate and bigotry. While being escorted out, one yelled, Free Palestine, a video shared to X shows. Shiwidak of the Upper East Side was arrested in September after disrupting the U.S. women's semi-final with activists who used glue to prevent security from ejecting them from Arthur Ashe Stadium after they held up a sign decrying fossil fuels. Their stunt stalled the match for nearly 50 minutes. The globetrotting Stuyvesant High School grad has made a career of divisive climate protests and has documented many of his activities on social media. Rosendahl, an Inwood resident, was previously arrested in April after spray painting climate criminal and no new oil on a window at a city bank. Okay, so these clearly are intersectionality type of people, right? The intersectionality of the victimhood of the Palestinians, along with, I guess, the climate crisis is why they're doing this. This is what it sounds like to me. Okay, they co-opted the new grift, right? It went from climate to, being pro-Palestine, and somehow they have kind of tied all that in together using woke intersectionality victimhood ideology. The three noisemakers barged into the church following a protest by thousands of pro-Palestinian marchers in Times Square. At least some of the protesters were with Extinction Rebellion's NYC's Palestinian Solidarity Group and carried a flag with an olive tree and the words "Silence equals death" written across it. Extinction Rebellion has gained a name for itself with disruptive public climate change protests, including blocking major roads and hosting die-ins at major New York museums. Many attending the mass, led by Cardinal Timothy Dolan, the Archbishop of New York, did not react to the disruption. However, some gathered outside of the church felt Saturday evening's demonstration lacked respect. I mean, that's at the very least what it did. Quote, "We all have to respect each other's religions. What's going on in Gaza is appalling, but there are other ways to show your point of view." A 59-year-old from Brooklyn told the Post outside of St. Patrick's Saturday night. Another churchgoer who did not want to be named but said she works as a lawyer said she felt the activists should take the demonstration elsewhere. Quote, "Not inside the church. Outside, they can be as free as they please. Gaza is a really bad situation, but this is a place of sanctuary for us. Have a little respect, please." A 65-year-old surgeon visiting New York City on holiday from Anchorage, Alaska, simply stated, "Wrong place, wrong time," in a response to the Post. Yeah, so, I mean, again, you all get the gist of kind of how people felt about this. And I think, listen, this is the sad part about all of these so-called pro-Palestinian protests. I think, for the most part, in regards to the public sentiment about that conflict, I think there are a lot of people that do feel sympathy for what's happening to the Palestinians, right? I think that there is a lot of support in this country for a ceasefire. And I think that these protests, they're not really helping the cause, right? Because as you have people starting to kind of see, okay, well, you know, Israel might be taking their response to what happened on October 7th too far. Maybe they should stop, right? Maybe we should have peace. Okay, maybe we should have some diplomacy here. And I get it, you know, Israel's trying to get back their hostages, so I understand their side of the situation. I think the last thing that these pro-Palestinian activists should want to do is to continue to piss people off, because pissing people off is going to make it so people are going to be less likely to sympathize with your cause, okay? And again, we're in a time where I think the tide is turning, and I think a lot of people are saying, hey, Israel's going too far. You know, they're calling it a genocide. They're saying that, you know, there needs to be peace, okay? So when you have these types of protests that are happening that are interrupting people's lives in ways that make it so people can't sympathize with your cause, right? Or it makes it harder for people to sympathize with your cause. I don't think that you're really helping yourself out, especially when you decide to do this on probably the worst day possible to do this, which is doing a Christian holiday ceremony, right? It really doesn't make sense why you would choose to do this at a, cathedral on Easter while Christians are worshiping, but yet you want to get people to sympathize with your conflict and to be on your side, right? I would find it hard to be on your side, if you decide that you don't even have enough respect for my religion to let me worship on the holiest day, but yet you want me to, again, sympathize with your conflict, right? To care about your conflict when you don't even care about our holiest day. Again, that's exactly what I'm saying, right? That's exactly the problem here. In this situation, and these, woke activists don't even have enough awareness to realize that they're not really helping themselves, okay? So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.